You might think a theme park is the happiest place on earth, where laughter echoes and magic is real. But sometimes, behind the smiles, behind the flashing lights and the rides that make your stomach drop, there's something else. Something that doesn't belong in a place meant for joy. If you've ever visited a park like Disney, or even just grabbed a late-night meal at Taco Bell, you might think you're safe, that nothing could go wrong. But let me tell you, that's exactly when the nightmare begins. If you've ever felt a chill in a crowd, or a shadow that wasn't yours, stay with me. Because tonight, on Nightmare Chronicles, you're about to hear stories that turn fun into fear. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Nightmare Chronicles. I promise you, these aren't your usual scary stories. Every click helps me bring more nightmares straight to you. And don't worry, we are in this together, so stay with me until the very end. Our first story takes place in the heart of a theme park, somewhere sunny, crowded, with music playing from every corner. A family of 4 had been visiting for hours, hopping from ride to ride, laughing at every character they saw. But as night fell, they decided to grab one last snack before heading out. They chose a little stand tucked behind a popular roller coaster, mostly empty except for one worker, a quiet man with dark eyes that didn't quite meet theirs. The line was short, almost suspiciously short, and that should have been the first warning. As the father reached for his wallet, the worker leaned in and whispered something that made him freeze. It wasn't a question about their order. It was a statement, "You're not leaving tonight." The father laughed it off, thinking it was some weird joke. But the moment they turned to leave, the lights flickered, and the cheerful music warped into something low and distorted. People they thought were nearby suddenly seemed far away, like they were in a different world. By the time the family made it to the exit, the worker was gone, and so was the crowd. It was just them, alone in a park that should have been closing. Every door they tried was locked, and the exit signs, they kept changing direction. It took hours to escape, and when they finally did, they swore they heard laughter, not theirs, echoing behind them, fading only when they drove away. Now, you might think that's just a weird coincidence. But imagine this, Taco Bell at 2 a.m., the fluorescent lights buzzing, the drive-thru almost empty. One teenager, a college student actually, pulled up to get a late-night snack after a long night studying. The place looked normal, but inside, every worker was staring at him. Not a glance, not casual curiosity, but staring, as if they were waiting for something. He laughed nervously and placed his order. That's when he noticed the small menu board flicker, not with prices, but with words he didn't recognize. Something like, "Stay, watch, listen." His first thought was, maybe it's just a glitch. But when he got to the window, the person handing him his food didn't speak. Their lips moved, but there was no sound. Just a slight smile, like they knew something he didn't. He got his food, drove off, and thought the fear would fade. It didn't. At home, when he opened the bag, every single taco shell was empty. Just empty shells. And in the corner of his room later that night, he swore he saw a shadow moving, thin, fast, and watching. He never went back to that Taco Bell. Sometimes, the horror is in the rides themselves. One young woman was on a classic spinning ride at a theme park, something that is supposed to make you scream for fun. But midway through, the lights went out. Not just the ride lights, but all the surrounding park lights, plunging the entire area into darkness. People screamed, but she couldn't move. Her restraints felt heavier than normal, like they were holding her down. In the pitch black, she thought she heard whispers. At first, she thought it was the wind, or maybe the excited chatter of other riders. But then she realized the whispers were saying her name, softly at first, then louder, closer. She tried to scream, but no sound came out. When the lights flickered back on, everyone else was gone. Just the empty ride, spinning slowly, as if waiting for her. It took security almost an hour to find her, hiding behind a maintenance shed, shaking, unable to explain what she had seen. When she tried, the only thing she could say was, "I wasn't alone." They were there, watching the whole time. And it's not just theme parks or late-night fast food. Sometimes it's the characters themselves. Costumed mascots, the ones meant to make you smile, can become terrifying when you least expect it. A group of teenagers visiting Disney for the first time noticed a Mickey Mouse lookalike walking in their direction. Nothing unusual, except the eyes. They were too dark, too still. And when they tried to wave, Mickey didn't wave back. He just followed. Step by step. They tried to hide, ducking behind a souvenir stand. But when they peeked again, He was gone. And then, just behind them, they felt it. The sound of shoes dragging across concrete, getting closer, almost in rhythm with their own heartbeat. They didn't stop running until they reached the parking lot. When they looked back, nothing. But later, on their photos, there was one image they didn't take. A dark figure, standing in the back, not smiling, not waving, just staring. What's chilling is that these stories aren't isolated. Online, people have shared encounters that start normal: rides, food, characters, and end with something inexplicably wrong. Shadows where there shouldn't be, whispers in empty hallways, lights flickering in patterns that mimic footsteps. It makes you wonder, are these just coincidences, or is there something that feeds off the joy and excitement, twisting it into fear? One man who worked at a theme park for decades once said he felt it. He called it the shift. Late at night, after the crowds leave, the park isn't quiet. Not really. The rides hum on their own. The lights move without switches. And sometimes, just sometimes, the characters in costume don't leave. They watch. They wait. And if you happen to be alone, or tired, or distracted, that's when they come closer. Maybe the lesson here is simple. Happiness and fear aren't opposites. They can exist in the same place. A park meant for magic can hide nightmares, a drive-through can hide something watching, and a simple meal can turn into a memory you'll never forget. The next time you're at a theme park, or grabbing a taco late at night, pay attention. Watch the shadows. Listen for the whispers. And don't be alone for too long. If you've ever had a strange encounter in a theme park, a fast food restaurant, or anywhere you thought you were safe, I want to hear about it. Comment below your story and share this video with a friend, because some nightmares are better shared, and the more we share, the more we realize we're not alone. And if you enjoyed tonight's journey into fear, make sure you're subscribed to Nightmare Chronicles. We'll keep bringing you the stories that make every shadow, every quiet corner, and every unexpected silence a little more terrifying. Because sometimes, the happiest places aren't what they seem, and the safest moments aren't safe at all.